Most of us remember our first lockdown drill, the teacher quietly shutting off the lights, pulling the blinds, and telling us to sit silently in the corner. For a lot of kids, it feels pointless, even boring. You whisper to friends, glance at the clock, and wait for it to be over. But when that loudspeaker comes on, and the words are slightly different, this is not a drill. Everything changes. In that moment, every sound outside the door matters. Every shadow, every creak in the hallway suddenly feels like a threat. Tonight, you'll hear 3 real stories. Not rumors, not legends, but terrifying experiences told by students who lived through lockdowns that went horribly wrong. Some of them walked away physically unharmed, but all of them were changed forever. Let's begin. Story 1. The substitute teacher. Jason was a junior in Ohio. By his own admission, he hated math. That day in November, it was raining outside, heavy raindrops against the glass, so loud that the teacher had to raise her voice to be heard. Except, it wasn't his regular teacher. She was out sick, and they had a substitute. He wasn't the kind of substitute that kids liked. Nervous, strict, fumbling through the attendance sheet. He kept checking his watch as though he wanted to be anywhere else. The class was halfway through a worksheet when the PA system crackled. A long pause. And then, attention staff and students. The building is going into lockdown. This is not a drill. At first, laughter. Some kids thought it was a prank. One girl muttered, "Yeah, right." But the sub froze. He dropped the attendance sheet and rushed to the door, fumbling with the lock. The latch clicked. Good. Except he didn't turn off the lights. Everyone whispered, "Turn them off." But he shook his head, saying, "It's fine. Just stay quiet." His voice betrayed how scared he was. Minutes passed and then footsteps. Slow, heavy, deliberate, echoing down the hall. The handle rattled violently. Clank, clank, clank. Someone was outside. Jason's stomach dropped. His friend mouthed, "Police?" But Jason shook his head. He could hear breathing on the other side of the door. And then came the shadow. A shape crouching low, right in front of the little rectangular window in the door. Whoever it was, they weren't moving, just watching. Then, a gunshot. Somewhere down the hall. The walls shook with the echo. The substitute jolted so hard he dropped his phone. Jason's heart raced. His phone buzzed in his pocket, but he was too scared to look. He finally pulled it out and texted his mom. "Lockdown. I love you." The shadow lingered for what felt like forever. Then came the tapping. Tap, tap, tap. On the glass. Almost playful. Someone muffled a sob. The substitute pressed his back against the wall, eyes wide. Finally, the shadow drifted away. Silence, except for the faint sound of crying and the rain hammering the windows. 20 minutes later, officers stormed the hall, shouting commands, clearing rooms. The lockdown lasted 2 more hours. What they found was chilling. A former student had entered with a weapon. He had a list of classrooms. Jason's math class was one of them. The police caught him just 2 doors down. Jason swears the only reason they were spared was because the intruder got distracted by movement elsewhere. To this day, Jason says every drill feels real. He can't sit in a lit room during a lockdown without remembering that shadow crouching by the door. Story 2. The gymnasium. Emily, a sophomore in Texas, was in gym class when it happened. It was supposed to be an easy day. They'd been playing basketball, laughing, goofing off. The echo of sneakers squeaked across the gym floor. Then, the intercom. "Lockdown. This is not a drill." 60 students froze mid-play. The coach's face went pale. He blew his whistle once, then barked, "Locker rooms." Now, the gym felt enormous. Too many doors, too much glass, nowhere safe. The students flooded into the locker rooms, fluorescent lights buzzing overhead. The air was hot, suffocating, filled with sweat and the metallic tang of lockers. The coach locked the door. Everyone sat down, knees to their chests, trying to be silent. At first, nothing. Then, footsteps. Running. Fast, echoing across the empty gym floor outside. Someone whispered, "It's the cops." But Emily knew better. The rhythm of those footsteps wasn't steady. It was chaotic. Then the fire alarm went off. A deafening wail. Half the kids panicked. Some stood, ready to run outside. Others screamed for them to sit back down. The coach shouted, "Nobody moves." His voice cracked. Through the locker room door, Emily heard it. A man's voice. "Come out, come out." The words stretched, mocking. Then came the scraping, something metal dragging along the lockers. The handle jiggled, hard, once, twice. Emily pressed into the wall, tears streaming. She held her friend's hand so tight her nails dug in, and then silence. Just the alarm blaring above. They waited and waited. 40 minutes in that suffocating room, listening to every thud, every echo. When officers finally stormed the gym, Emily nearly collapsed with relief. They were evacuated into the parking lot, blinking in the sunlight. Later, they learned the truth. A man had pulled the fire alarm, hoping students would pour into the open. He was waiting outside. His plan failed because the coach refused to let anyone move. Emily says even years later, fire alarms make her flinch. She remembers that voice outside the door. The scraping metal, the handle shaking, and the crushing realization that the only thing keeping them safe was a thin, locked door. Story 3. The library. Michael, a senior in California, had a free period. He loved the library. It was quiet, smelled of old books, and felt like a sanctuary from the chaos of high school. That morning, he was tucked into a corner with earbuds in when the librarian's voice cut through. Lockdown. Lights out. Everyone down. Chairs scraped. Students ducked between bookshelves. The librarian moved swiftly, shutting doors, whispering for silence. The room fell into darkness, broken only by faint light creeping through the blinds. At first, nothing. Then, the creak of the library doors opening. Someone had entered. Michael assumed it was an officer, but then, humming. A slow, eerie tune echoing between the shelves. The footsteps moved deliberately, circling. Then came a dragging sound, something heavy scraping across the carpet. Books began to fall, one by one, sliding from shelves. Someone was running their hand across the spines, knocking them loose. The humming stopped. Silence. Then a whisper. "I know you're in here." Michael froze. His phone buzzed in his pocket. He dared not move. Suddenly, a crash. A chair flung across the room. Students' muffled screams. The intruder laughed, a low, chilling laugh that echoed in the darkness. Minutes stretched like hours. Then, shouts, commands, "Police, drop it." Flashlights burst through the dark. Officers tackled the man. He had slipped in through a side door, armed. His plan was to trap students in the library. Michael sat frozen even after they said it was safe. He says what stays with him isn't the crash or the laugh. It's the humming, that quiet tune that told him, without a doubt, they weren't dealing with a drill. 3 students. 3 different schools. 3 lockdowns that went horribly wrong. Jason still remembers the tapping on the glass. Emily can't hear a fire alarm without panicking. Michael hears humming in his dreams. They all survived, but the fear never truly left. Lockdown drills are supposed to make us feel safe. But for these students, they were reminders of just how fragile safety can be. And if there's one thing these stories teach us, it's that when the loudspeaker says, "This is not a drill," every second counts. Stay safe out there.